both in our internal politics and in our foreign policy, things really went awry over time. And, to come back to Confucianism, but also to Aristotle in the West, one of the core virtues was self-control. It's moderation. It's the idea also of seeing things from the other's point of view. And this is what the United States lost. Now, why did it lose that? I think it lost it for a couple of reasons. Internally, our politics became very corrupt financially. Starting in the 1970s, limits on campaign funding were taken away, even by the Supreme Court. It was a campaign by the corporate sector so that big businesses could spend money to influence American politics. This is where Marx comes in, because Marx said, in the Western countries, big money really controls politics. And America made it a kind of caricature, starting in the 1970s. And then afterwards, there were many legal rulings which said corporations can spend whatever they want on corporate free speech, we called it, to influence policies. Well, this meant that American government stopped being one person, one vote, and it started being $1, one vote. Money really corrupted American politics. And in the American way, in the free market way, it was, quote, legal corruption. It said, you can buy congressional votes, campaign contributions. And now our campaigns are billions of dollars of spending by rich people. Our candidates spend most of their time with rich people, with corporate lobbies. So this is what happened, in my view, on the domestic side. The Congress doesn't want to hear from average people. It wants to hear from big donors, the ones that finance the campaigns. And then it's possible to take over whole categories of politics. The Israel lobby is money for Congress people for their campaigns, coming if they support whatever Israel says. The military-industrial complex pours in money to congressional campaigns, as long as the congressmen say, yes, buy more military arms, have a big defense budget, and so on. Then on the other side was a different kind of hubris of geopolitics. It's not unrelated, but it is a little bit different. The US was in the Cold War with the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union had real security concerns, especially since it had lost 27 million people to Hitler's invasion in World War II. And so they wanted to know, how are we going to have security? But at the same time, the United States remilitarized Germany almost immediately after World War II. And the Soviet Union said, but what about our security? And the United States said, we don't hear you, you're on the other side. So the Cold War proceeded. It was extremely dangerous. We came very close to nuclear war on several occasions, accidental or deliberate. Then in 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved under its financial crisis and its ethnic pressures and its internal divisions. At that moment, the US could have said, now we have a chance for peace, because actually what the Soviet leader, Mikhail Gorbachev, was saying at the time, and President Yeltsin, the new leader of Russia, was saying at the time, we just want normal relations. We want mutually respectful relations. We want peace. But the United States said, no, no, no. We won, you lost, we run the world. So this is the second part of the arrogance, which is that the US decided it can do what it wants. It doesn't have any competitor. China did not look like a competitor in 1992. China looked like small, rural, poor, not to worry about. Russia was on its knees. The US security state said, we run the world now. And this is what brought us to our current day. And in the meantime, China had great success, phenomenal economic progress, the greatest economic success in history at this scale by far. And the US only starting in the 2010 said, oh my God, look at China. And then it decided to make China an enemy because of China's success. Instead of saying what I would have said and what I do say every day, congratulations, you caught up. This is phenomenal. This is great news. Look at the well-being of the Chinese people. Look at the end of poverty. This is a great contribution to humanity. This is an inspiration for Africa. Thank you for the Belt and Road Initiative. This is a way to modernize infrastructure. This is what the United States should say. But of course, it's the opposite of what it is saying.